Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are live for rocking and rolling. Like our normal Sunday stock talk, we're gonna break down the dollar, some of the places that go with it, right? Usually the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen, Bitcoin. We'll do the S&P, the Nasdaq, the Russell, and then we'll talk about a couple of other tickers, probably a lot like Tesla. We do have Powell talking tomorrow, so we'll give the overall opinion on that. But let's jump right in because as far as the futures just opened almost 2 hours ago. And as far as the dollar goes, nothing. Kind of a nothing open. A little bit green on the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen, which is funny. The night before, this was right here, and I was just talking about how I'm just not going to stop out. I said I'm going to give mine plenty of wiggle room because I know if we're going to bounce to this zone, I kind of expect it to be here anyway. And someone in my group, his name's Steve, said I think that's going to pay out dividends. And boy, was he right because he beat my time frame. I was like, yeah, let's see, let's give it a week or two, and it was hours. It was more like an hour or two. And the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen sank. We do have a lot going on in the markets right now, and I want to say, guys, I get the uncertainty. We got Powell talking tomorrow. I don't know of a bear case right now. I want there to be because I want to buy the dip. I've been talking about buying the dip for a while. Just give me a red candle or two. But this China situation, China is just they got the money printers. They're taking a page out of our book that will flow into our markets as well. Speaking of China, real quick, if you guys were watching when I was live, I set the alert right here when Neo broke above that zone. So as far as like my Chinese exposure, it is Neo. I'm waiting for Alibaba. That'll be my next one. But no chance you're going to catch me buying a stock that is just gap and go, gap and go, gap and go. I mean, as far as the gap and goes, here's a gap. All right, we tried, we sold off, whatever. Gap and go, gapped up, sold off, gapped up and go, gap and go, gap down, but still went for it. Gap and go again, gap and go again. They are a let's just send it. And I think you would just be foolish to think momentum traders are not in here driving some of this up. So I kind of want some profit taking. I like what's going on as far as this goes. I'm not an economist. I don't really care about inflation, to be honest, or their market. I don't that sounded a lot meaner as I said it, but at the same time, I would rather deal with inflation because I have a lot more money playing it than just complain about it, and then that's it. So any kind of dip, and I do want to get on this one. Baba is past the stratosphere. Yeah, it's up there. I like it for its popularity reasons. Neo, I just had an alert here. If it breaks above that zone, let me know because I like it if it gets above this zone right here. So when that alert went off, I did buy it. Baba for running the wheel or too soon. I would certainly wait for a red candle. If I was going to do that, it would be very specific. It probably wouldn't be all willy nilly. Baba does pay a pretty good premium last time, and I've done it before. I didn't strictly set out to run the wheel on Alibaba, but I've sold plenty of puts and calls on it. I would wait for just a bright red day, some kind of pullback, let those puts get juiced up, and then sell those puts. Lisa says, I think China stocks are going to be bullish for a bit. I think so too. And with us kind of having the election and just kind of things on hold, I think the money flowing in is going to probably drive these markets up. I don't think anything we have is going to look like Neo. I'm not saying the S&P is going to look like this, but I would look at this as a case of just inflows. There's a lot of money coming in. If the U.S. dollar goes down, they can only afford to buy more of our stuff. So I think all of this is just going to be a net positive for now. All right, so getting back to it, Bitcoin. Did not think Bitcoin was going to really break above this. Now plans really have changed. Again, with the China stuff, I just didn't see a lot of disposable income going into things. So new data, new decisions. First of all, we did finally get above that zone. I guess overall, you can watch this trend down right here. If we break this zone right here, so I have a zone right here, and you might not know what it means. I do. But I know a lot of retail thinks, oh, it's making a lower high. And if it breaks that momentum, what's going to happen right here when it breaks that zone and that trend line at the same time? At this point, I do want to have this talk with somebody else on stream, but I don't think so. He thinks it's going to be 100K this year. I think that's a bit I think that's a bit too soon. And now he's usually someone I try to find ways to disagree with him because I like to pick fights with him. He's another trader. His name's Merlin. We don't actually like fight or argue. But I do think if we get above this 68 and we break 70 again, I'm sure we'll make a pit stop at 80 and kind of jack around. But I wouldn't say it's a straight shot to 100, but I bet the time we spend at the 80 and 90K mark might be a lot less than you think. Merlin is bullish for sure. He is. Maybe it's just a giant bull flag. Now Merlin one time just to showed how easy it is, copied the code and like created his own crypto, just teaching a crypto class. So he definitely knows more of the nuances, I guess, behind it. Where I just buy the stuff. I buy the stuff and my money goes up. That's that. Full disclosure, done well. But I only buy Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? I'm not in I should say I own a few of the crap coins. And they will either go to zero or one day I'll just have a bunch of money. Um I bet they go to zero. Um if you bust out to 80, I think you'll get a retest of the breakout at 73. Yeah, pulling back. That would almost be just normal chop on the way up, though. Again, I don't think it's going to be an absolute straight shot, kind of like how we had this run up right here. I bet yeah, outside of pulling back to 5,000, we either base out or have a pullback like this. I bet as far as it does go, you're going to see one of two plays. I mean, I'm going to really stretch this out and feel like for everyone watching on a mobile screen, you're going to have a base out like this or a pullback like that. But I bet the A and B is going to be where we're at now in 100K. So I guess that's pretty exciting. It doesn't mean anything to me. I'm probably not going to sell regardless. All right. S&P. We actually had quite a green open today. That's a little bit more movement than we usually see on a Sunday. So we opened up. We did come down a little bit and push right back up. Let's get it here on the 15-minute. So there's your opening. Technically, we gapped down tiny little bit, sold off, got your mother, and then turned that thing around, all inside 15 minutes. I would say that was probably. I spent a lot of time this weekend. Honestly, Friday night, I was kind of bearish, and my mindset was, what kind of puts do I want to grab? Do I want to grab some November puts or not? I'm thinking some October fun, some October volatility, and I don't want to just give. I want to give myself enough time, which is why I was thinking maybe some November puts. But right now, I don't know if I actually will buy any puts. Maybe some day trades, maybe from one day to the next kind of thing. In that case, I'll probably just go Friday's expiration. But with China just turning on the printers and saying, let's go buy everything you want. I mean, they're telling companies, lower your rates right now. Like, we got you. You just do it. Like that's like the higher ups telling the managers, give everybody a raise. I don't want to hear your opinion. Like, first of all, it never happens. But imagine if it did, you'd probably be pretty excited. Tomorrow's the mortgage trade day. Oh, make sure you tag me in the chat on that one because I'm doing it this time. Japan hit market on Friday. Today it's up. ES getting bids. It is right now. Yeah, we are going for it. I guess we're on the Tokyo market right now, which is about all of 12 people. If anyone that does follow, maybe Forex is a little bit different. That's a joke. But the Tokyo market right now is liquidity reasons next to none. But I gotta say, for an open, a Sunday open. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, you're probably thinking, why did I do this? On TikTok, all they can see is this candle right here. There's your open. Just sending it. I think you're doing good. All right, S&P's expected move. Let me pull that up real quick. I will adjust the lines for everyone that has my charts later. So let me just turn and burn through this right now. IWM 604, QQQ 1057, SPY 981, Tesla 1926. We're going to come back to that one. Meta 1789, Microsoft 991, Nvidia $6.49. Amazon 556, not 223. Apple 573, Google 451, Ford's got 41 cents, Palantir $1.74. Hopefully to the downside so I can buy some more. Intel $1.44, AMD $7.71. If you guys do have my charts, I will update those lines right here. That's what these lines are. I'll just do that off the screen. Tesla's $19. Tesla has deliveries this week. So we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's jump ahead to the NASDAQ real quick. NASDAQ absolutely, ultimately, let me break this down because someone on the talk probably, I think he got banned, in case he's still here. Yes, that zone absolutely did mean something. He said that zone meant absolutely nothing. Like, you can say whatever you want, but here's your buyers, here's your sellers, and we kind of just keep doing it. We kind of slipped right through it, but it is important, guys. If you're ever watching, I will make fun of you. If you try to make fun of my strategy, but you don't understand it, just know that I'm gonna have a lot easier time making fun of you, and I'm gonna enjoy it. But anyway, these zones, the colors do have a meaning. So let me get to that meaning right here. 4-hour time frame. This is what I'm watching. Okay, so that's the candle close. Wicks are a sign of rejection, right? So ultimately, these zones held. As soon as we blasted right through that, now we're playing the ping pong game. So again, it's not just the level, but it's also how we get there. Right now, I gotta say, I bet we break this one up this week. I bet the NASDAQ does see all-time highs this week. I don't know if that's necessarily sticking my neck out. I've seen some traders like, you know what? Spies at 571. Like, no, I'm sticking my neck out. I'm putting my neck on the line for you guys. I'm calling SPY to 574. Like, what? In the next 15 minutes? Like, that's their weekly call out. Like, oh boy, you're brilliant. I don't listen to this Don Fron talking right now. I listen to the real Don Fron. He makes way better gains. The number of Don Frons on TikTok now, absolutely hilarious. Guys, hopefully you can figure out which one's the real me. The fake ones probably won't make fun of you the way I will, but they will take your money. Okay, it's a very huge difference. Now, the fake me does post some serious gains. He posts 90K a day. Whew. That's my PR. I've done that once. This guy does it every day. Just saying. You might be someone to check out. Can I check KWEB? Norbert? I will. Just give me a second. Let me get this finished up. Hughes will go over that. That's going to be to the upside. He's a liar. I don't know. I believe him. He doesn't talk to me, though. Let's see. The Russell, I'd have to be bullish, I guess. But if financials can turn this ship around and go, that might just be a bull flag playing out. So if I'm going to be in the Russell, I would keep an eye out on the financials or just financials in general. Watch right there. If we can just get above that, and it does look like we're about to, you can draw some trend lines. I could sell you a position as to why we're probably going to break that up. But I do think that's probably where we're headed. Get on this level. I'm trying. Tesla. Let's talk about Tesla. Tesla had, what was it, 19? Let me pull up real quick. 1926. So 279.72 up. I'm going to adjust this one real quick while we're here. 279.72. And then the downside, we got 241.20. So interesting enough, the expected moves line up with these zones, basically. Earnings should come, not earnings, deliveries will come out this week for Tesla. The next week we have everything about volatility right now in Tesla. And Tesla has been, not that it isn't usually my bread and butter ticker for trading. I have been in a mess of Tesla plays. I mean, almost every direction. Bought, sold, poor man covered call, some puts, calls, bought and sold puts and calls. I'd be careful. Careful with this one. It's going to be exciting. I don't know of a time Tesla has not had a buy the rumor, sell the news event. Now we have deliveries sometime this week is what people are assuming. Remember, guys, the earnings move for Tesla is deliveries. Earnings is literally nothing. Earnings is going to be like a dud out unless Elon comes on and says something absolutely wild. There's still that small chance he does. So there's still some kind of like earnings expectations, but the move everyone wants to gamble on is delivery numbers. We can probably just deduce and figure out what earnings is after that anyway. So we have that this week. I am bullish that. Next week, we have the Robotaxi event on the 10th. So I don't know how much volatility crush you're going to get with each one. But I got to say, after the 18th, if we are just pushing up on Tesla to the 18th, maybe even the 18th is Friday's expiration, maybe even the 17th, I might actually go short. I'm bullish, but I'm borderline expecting us, like, here's a couple of trend lines on Tesla. One, you always want to buy on this one. But even this one, we're kind of getting a little extended, and Tesla goes to these trends, and then it gets a little extended, get a little carried away, and then we do rein it back in. So I'm expecting a leg down. I don't care how dramatic. Um, I wouldn't. I'm obviously not going to go short yet. I'm still very bullish. I'll decide that after. But I think we're gonna have a pretty decent run in Tesla, and then we'll pull that thing back. Uh, am I sleeping on load? I have a feeling you're sleeping on load common stock. Yeah, you probably do have a feeling because I've never broken it down or even heard about it. Do you care about a soft landing or recession narrative? It's an excuse. People also worry about what color tie he is. Are you trading what you see day by day? I just stick to the charts. You'll find a lot of times the excuses line up with these magic yellow boxes. As far as tomorrow goes, I'm sure Powell will talk something about a soft landing. Um, I care more about the reaction than I do what they're saying. So there's probably other YouTubers that'll break down what he's going to say. Powell says the same thing over and over again. Um, but again, I care more about the reaction with that. There's a lot of writing on the wall why a recession might be here. We'll see how they handle it. But then there's a difference between the real world and the stock world. And by the time they do declare a recession, the stocks will be going up. And then because that's when everybody will be all confused, like, oh, we're in a recession. Why are stocks going up? And then that's just because you're a day late, a dollar short every time. And what's funny is people will fall for that over and over again and just never decide to get it in gear. Hang on, let's check out load. Am I sleeping on that? Yeah, no, you won't really see me buy stuff like this. Innovation, commercialization, jeez, and development of technologies that enable systemic decarbonization by converting underutilized natural resources into renewable energy. Well, they got some magic words that I like. Nonetheless, cool story, bro. Like it, not to you, but like that's what that paragraph at the bottom was. Oh, I was reading. You can't see it on TikTok. There's a paragraph on the bottom of the website that tells me what the company does. Right now, it does look like a pump and dump. This, if I were to, let's say I did a deep dive and I like this particular ticker, I like this company. I'd have to do risk and capital. Right now, it's at 48 cents, 48.7, which matters on a ticker this cheap. I would just buy it, check it again in 5 years. As a trade, I can't trade stuff like this. I would end up the amount I would need to actually make a move. I would end up just providing a bunch of liquidity for people to exit. Got to deal with Microsoft for 20 years. Got to deal with Microsoft or got to deal with Gates? Because this sounds like something Gates would get involved in. Hmm. Mm. I don't know. I do like this. So right now, you guys are on TikTok. It's Don Fron Show. On YouTube, it's Don Fron Trading. And Don Fron Show. It's actually on both of them. On Don Fron Show, it's a lot of it's actually just AI stuff now. Clean energy or energy in general is involved in that too. So the two sectors that I really haven't dove into and why he says it's a 1 to 2 year hold. I'd have to deep dive into it, but I'm not making fun of any stock like this because right now I want this. I want some energy plays, and I want something in the medical genomics space, just recoding humans like they're just software. I want that. I think that's going to be the next big thing, or just not health insurance, but anything in the medical cancer field. It's the one solid case I have to buy Kathy's ARC G, their genomic one. and that's just to borrow from their homework, assuming their team did any homework or had any kind of fast track to knowledge that I don't have. But so anytime someone calls out tickers like this, I actually do write them down and I do check them out later. But as far as plays like that go, it's hard to be a YouTuber and talk about investing because there's what if I'm gonna if first of all it's in my investment account, I'm gonna buy it and I'll see you in 5 years. Okay, now obviously I do check in. I everything I'm in, I know what's going on, but I'm also not worried if like when it has a red day, you're not gonna hear me say like, "I wonder if I should sell." No, it's in the investment account for a reason. So I have a hard time making 27 million videos about a ticker that I put in my investment account because nothing changes day to day, month to month, week to week, however you want to put it. Stephen Mark Ryan does a video about Tesla I haven't seen him in a while. Does he still do videos? But like a Tesla video every day for years. That would suck. I don't think I could do that. Read into the company. I never tell people to buy, but I believe in this one. Sounds a lot like me when there was 2 times I've ever done that on YouTube. It was Meta at 90 and Tesla right in this area right here. I was like, you guys need to buy it. Not financial advice, but don't be stupid. I borderline. I said everything I could to tell people this was where you wanted to get in on Tesla. Remember BNGO Genomics? Are they killing it or BINGO? I'm just kidding. I won't sing anymore. Life sciences. I don't know. I'll be honest, guys. I want you guys to keep bringing me tickers like this. I mean, I break down your stuff all the time. Let me ask you guys for some tickers. Put it in the comments of the video, not in the live stream, because those that'll be like my notes. I don't know if I just buy a whole mess of 40-cent tickers. If there's a better one that I buy, because honestly, when I see 46 cents, it's priced that way for a reason. As a trader, by the way, it's why I never touch those things. It's because I make plenty of money trading real companies, and not to talk bad about them. Again, priced that way for a reason. So do I find one that's in the space that has the money? The thing is, and here's where I'm conflicted, and you guys can answer down below. I don't think the next jump in AI or genomics is I don't think it has to be from a giant tech company. It's one of the things, and if you hear me out, if money could buy it, it would already exist. Period. If we could just turn on the money, write a blank check, and AI was here tomorrow, someone would have already done it. If we could recode someone's DNA with a check, it would already be done. So I kind of think this is going to be done accidentally, and I don't want to say accidentally like the scientist doesn't know what he's doing, but more like it was just the right place at the right time. It happened, and then they borderline just reverse engineer it to replicate it, which is why I don't. It's why I want to branch out from just the big ones. Don't buy 40-cent tickers. 80% of them be out of business or acquired in the first 4 years. I know, and that's where I'm back and forth though, because I do think we're right around the corner. CRISPR. I already own this one. And if I didn't, this would be a decent area to buy it, I think. Let's see. Says, I like this channel a lot. Good head on your shoulders. I appreciate that. TikTok's new, but I've been doing this for 11 years. Anyway, the AI stuff. I don't know if it's FOMO driven, but I just feel like I need to be in that one because it's going to be like when they figure out the one that gets the FDA actual approval and then does cure something, I think they send it. He's not a penny stock guy, just the company. I definitely like that even more. Hang on, guys. I don't have my. 1 second. My desk is actually made out of glass, so I can just take notes with a dry erase marker. Anybody else do that? I do want to look into that company though. hang on. I had to buy a lot of them and hope one or two hit. Much easier to buy bigger companies and get good returns. Oh, I already have the companies, and I already I sell calls against everything in my investment account, so I already have that. But there is a portion that I just want to dedicate to this, which again is it's definitely the I try not to use the word gambling, and I always forget this word every time I bring it up. You guys should know when I can't figure out a word. It's been the same word the last 10 times. Speculative. Uh, so if I'm buying a 40-cent ticker, I'm not going to worry about it. It's going to zero, or it's going to be a high flyer later. When they do figure something out. But I have zero expectations of it actually doing something. And I don't buy OTC stocks. I did that a couple times, but that's that was just me trying it out. It's a weird world over there. Palantir's your 40-cent ticker. It just costs more. It needs to drop down. Originally a mining company. Okay. Can you check VRT or VST has a deal with Microsoft 20 years for nuclear? We actually did just break that down not too long ago. Let's try that again. Yeah. So here's the zones for it. Based out just kind of even like a little hiccup right there. If I was looking for the dip buy, I would be watching this zone right here. Why can't hang on, guys? I don't think TikTok can see the prices. All right, so this 93.95 zone, if I have to just buy it now because I have just so much FOMO, I can't stand it anymore. This would be a type 1, which means I'm going to buy right here. Ultimately, my stop's going to be 91.85, and then I would add on in the yellow zone. Again, remember the exact distinction of I make this whole plan out before I ever click the buy button. I'm not just adding on because I'm down. I had every bit of I'm going to buy here. I'm going to add on here if it gets here, and then we're going to full stop out when it gets to this mark. And the only time I really take the type that's called type 1 and adding on it to type 2, I only take that if I think we're just never going to get there or I think I'm going to miss the play. Kind of eases the FOMO a little bit. I think this was the one I liked better than VST. Is it VST was the other one? VST. Do you only do day trading or do you have tips about dividend portfolios? Yeah, I do everything. And I don't really day trade. Like I post all my ins and outs. You can find that on Patreon or if you're in my Discord group. In the last 2 years, there's been 4 losses. I think 2 or 3 actual day trades, and that's just because. Before I finish breaking this down, I buy when it makes sense and I sell when it makes sense. Sometimes that's in a day, sometimes it's more. But if I'm on the gain train, if let's say I bought this down here, there's no way I have a take profit. I'm going to randomly just sell this thing. I'll put my stop loss in the green and I just keep trailing. So if that gain train keeps headed north, I'm on it. All right. Now, if it's going to turn around, stop here and let me out, and that'll sell my position, and I'll be out. So sometimes you just buy something and it jumps up. You put your stop in the green, and why not take the free money? I like free internet money. They do call me Dividend Don. I will say that. Now, my top 3 dividend tickers are Meta, Nvidia, and Tesla. Just saying. You want to talk about residual income? You only need about $4 billion worth. But if you have any dividend questions, I can help you out. What's VOO and load? VOO is kind of like when I break down the S&P or SPY. Why did I like VRT over the other one? Electricity. Critical digital infrastructure. I don't know. There's a reason why I liked VRT better. I think it just looked, honestly, this looks a little bit more like I get this volatility right here. But if we just go back to the daily, a little bit more of a consistent push up. I think VST was a little bit too new to the money. The new up and coming ones, when they just make all these profits really quick, it better have an Nvidia or a Tesla story behind it, or I just get hesitant. Like, hey, we're a little bit up here. We're pretty much walking on eggshells right now. Let's see. BST has a deal with Microsoft for 20 years. Okay. Well, that's cool and all. But, there's a huge difference on taking that gamble right here. Right here, I might just call that a structured trade. Hey, I'm going to get in. We're going to call that a higher low and put my stop at 71.85. Then you get the news around the gain train, or maybe you got the news right here. So you're a couple days in. We just broke above this high, kind of sent off some bullish signals. Buying it right now, that's a whole lot of chasing. So if I were to buy it right now, I would probably have to put my stop somewhere right below here because we hit this and we're kind of so we pushed up, gapped up, sold off, gap and go. Try run the daily time frame. So pay attention to where these candles start. We're starting to stall out. It's starting to look like a plane trying to play rocket. Planes have their limits, right? And they just don't have enough thrust to get any further, and that's when they start to fade and come back down. So that's kind of how I would visually picture this. So I'd put my stop at 112.85. Love me some stories. Remember that one time AMC to 100K? I do. I'm still waiting. Still waiting to be proved wrong on that one. There was another one I wanted to break down really quick. BOTY going to 10. Is that the yeah, lingerie fighting? I actually did own this one for a little bit. It was lingerie fighting, and I bought it as a joke. This was years ago. I don't remember where I bought and sold. I don't know if I made money on it or not, but I thought it was hilarious. Lingerie, lingerie fighting championships. I thought that's going places. I'm in it for 5 years. Any opinion on Neo? That's what it was. Someone asked about it on TikTok as well. What are my thoughts on Baba and JD? I bought Neo as it broke this zone. I haven't sold any calls against it, but that's what I'm going to do with this particular one. I'll probably sell some 7 strike calls, unless it's just sending it tomorrow. Then maybe I'll sell some 750s. It's one of those that if I sell the 750 and we're up there, I'm not going to be too worried about it getting taken away. I'll just call it a good trade from 6 something to 750 plus the premium I collected from any gambler trying to buy calls. Calls are juiced up right now, so if I can just get one more green day out of this thing, then I'm going to sell some calls. Baba was just a little bit too much for me to get in. I'm waiting for a dip buy. As far as China exposure, I would actually much rather have Baba than Neo, but waiting for that to come back down to some kind of reality. I don't care if it comes back down to Mars's moon. I don't. It just needs to pull back. I very much will judge the bulls by the bears. So right now, Winnie the Pooh hasn't shown up. No one showed up to contest this. And when they do, it's either gonna be a half little tick right here, or we're gonna send this thing down, and I'll know it was just stilts. What do you call people with really skinny legs? Bird sticks, chopsticks. You know the saying I'm looking for. As far as JD, I don't know why I don't trade this one. I have before. I wish I could give you an answer. I just don't know why I'm not attracted to this one. Either way, it'd be really cool if it could hit like that 41 mark and then pull back to 38. I would just look for a dip buy on either one of these. And no way would you catch me buying puts right now. I know you might think overbought, and you might take that same idea and go to the roulette table. See it's landed on red the last 7 times, put your money on black. That's a gambler's fallacy. It's not how things actually work. And you might think that's so up, I'm going to buy some puts. And you're going to be what fuels that to the upside even further. So no way would I short any of these with the money printers, just with a fresh cartridge of ink and, power for days. No leg day. Exactly. 0 leg day contract. check the flow calls for Queb. Someone did call that out earlier. Jeez. China Internet ETF. We certainly can't say Winnie the Pooh on this. Morph says here, fundamentally, we scrubbed the internet and got rid of Winnie the Pooh. TikTok, if you're new to that story, it's hilarious. Someone said Xi Jinping looks like Winnie the Pooh, so we had the internet scrubbed. There is no Winnie the Pooh in China. This ETF knows nothing about the Winnie the Pooh reference. This looks like all the other Chinese stocks. I gotta say right now, imagine playing a game of hot potato, but you're actually watching somebody else play a game of hot potato, and you're just waiting. That thing's got just a bright orange, right? We're not firecracker red, bright orange, and you think that's a good time to jump in. You might be quick with the hands, but I'd be very careful if you're going to jump into these Chinese companies right now. All right. I do have to hop off here. It is time for my mentorship. But anyway, shout out to everybody that's here. We were 7 away from getting to 3,300 on TikTok. Where we at? We got 58 on YouTube. We have 24 on TikTok. 2,500 likes though. You guys make it up. Apple user. Hey, now there's a name. Apple user just followed me. Now we're 6 away. But I know if I were to text that person, it's blue. Just saying. That comes with a certain prestige. Okay. All right. Anyway, I got to wrap it up here. You guys will probably see me tomorrow. Should. Have a good one, guys.